Hello, welcome back to Glen Ives Craft Design. My name is Chastity Ives, here bringing you Simon Says Stamp November card kit. And it's called Autumn Hugs, and it is just my favorite set they've come out with so far this year. And I made 4 cards, 2 tags, and just had a lot of fun. So if you want to see how I made these cards, then stick around, I'll see you on the flip side. Alrighty, let's get started. I'm super excited. This is my second Simon Says Stamp box kit of the month, and I'm super excited. Oh boy. Put that box off to the side, and let's open her up. Oh, okay. Oh my goodness. All right, let me rearrange this and then I'll be right back. Okay, so we have a lot of goodies to go through. One of them being the Simon Says Stamp Place and Pierce Embellishment Wand. Now, I already have an embellishment wand, but I'm excited because this one has different tips on it than the one I currently have, and yeah, I'll definitely be using that at some point. But let's get to the goodies. So the real goodies are the Simon Says Stamp Cozy Autumn Hugs stamp set, and I love Simon's stamp sets. They're so just sturdy, and these are layering stamps, and I'm excited to use that. I love layering recently, so definitely looking forward to that. The next is the Simon Says Stamp Wistful Leaves embossing folder, and hopefully you can get a good picture of that, but I love a good embossing folder as well. I love the layering and whatnot, and here's a good image of what the embossing folder will do, and this is gonna be good. This is good. It's shaping up to be a good box. The next thing is the Simon Says Stamp Moon and Pines Emboss and Cut folder. So it's just a little smaller embossing folder, but it also cuts, and it'll cut out a moon. And yeah, that's kind of neat. I haven't used one of these before, so we'll see if I end up using that today. The next thing is the Simon Says Stamp Autumn Frame Stencil Set. And this is a layering stencil, and that is gonna be pretty cool. Again, there's 2 of them in here, and it's a 6x6, so it's a good size. Yeah, this will be good for fall and autumn. The next thing is the Simon Says Stamp label tags. I have never made my own tags, so again, this will be interesting. I'm excited to use that. Put that to good use. The next thing is the Positively Perfect Craft Pad, and in watching other people's videos regarding their pokey tools and whatnot, they don't like to poke on the glass mat, and this is something that you can use to, cushion the blow when you're poking something out. Instead of poking your glass, you're poking this. So very thoughtful of them to create that. The next thing is the American Crafts Farmstead Harvest 4x6 patterned paper. And these are all single-sided, but they are so cute with their patterned paper. Look, okay, so they give you a little start and they give you a little some tags. Very cool. Okay. All right, now that I like. I've not seen that before, where there's gold on the pattern paper. Very neat. Just some simple little leaves. Yeah, this is very slick. Oh, here's some more gold. Oh boy. Yeah, those are nice. Okay. All right. So last but not least, we have our 3 colored cardstock. We have the burnt orange, the navy, and the Nina Solar white. So looking forward to using these as well. So I'm going to go through the set again and we're gonna make some cards. Okay, so we are going to start out simple and we're just going to stencil. And what I'm gonna try and do is line this up. So the stencil, the outline is A2 outline here. So 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. My piece of paper is slightly smaller than that. Just a touch. So I'm gonna try, that looks good. Yeah, okay, there we go. So I'm just gonna lay this down on the waffle flower grip mat. And mine's a little dirty, as you can tell. I've been having a lot of fun stenciling lately. I'm blending on it. But I have the first layer down. So what I'm going to use is some browns. It's fall. When I think of fall, I think of brown. So I'm gonna go with Latte and Cappuccino from the Positively Saturated ink from Simon Says Stamp. First, we're going to go light to dark. So Latte will be first. So I'm just going to take a brand new brush here. And I'm just gonna work my way inwards. I want the edges to be somewhat brown. So we're just gonna take a light hand. I can be very heavy-handed sometimes, as you can see right there. All right, and we're gonna give that time to dry. Okay, so now we're gonna go in with Cappuccino, and I'm gonna go in with a smaller rounded brush for blending, just because I want more precise motions or spots of where I want the ink to go. So, gosh, this is the first time I'm using this, and that is super juicy. Okay, so we're just gonna, again, very light, slight sleight of hand. We don't need to go crazy. All right. The first layer is now down, so we're going to take this off and we are going to soak this stencil in some soapy water. And I just have a Chobani Greek yogurt over on off camera here, and I'm just gonna put that in. We will also give this time to dry, and then we will come back with layer 2. Okay, so for layer 2, I want to emboss some Ranger Princess Gold powder on in the for the stems and whatnot. So I'm just gonna take my Versamark watermark stamp pad, and I'm gonna take just a clean brush, and I'm just gonna rub on here. All right. Let's see how we did. I think we did okay. I think we did all right. All right. I do not have any anti-static powder down. That's fine. It should be okay. And if something sticks, then that's cool, because then that means more gold. So we're just gonna lift up the piece of paper. And then this is just a random piece of copy paper. And we're gonna use the Princess Gold powder. Just gonna sprinkle this on. Okay. And then we reveal, hopefully, good coverage, which sort of worked. So it sort of did not work the way I was hoping, but I have a feeling that if I leave it the way it is and heat emboss this, it might get me a better effect than what I wanted. So it's just gonna turn everything gold, and I love gold things. So let me put this up and then I'll be right back. So I'm gonna go heat emboss this and then I'll be right back. Okay, so after further analysis, I did not let the first layer dry long enough. And that's why it's sort of just kind of stuck to more than just where I put the Versamark ink. But I'm not mad at it. I kind of really like what it did there. So I just have this microfiber towel that my husband gave me, and I'm just wiping away the extra gold bits that was on here. Just wiping that away. But I really like that. That fail sort of worked for me. Okay, cool. All right, so let's make a sentiment. There is no smell better to me than opening up a new stamp set and then smelling that photopolymer. Oh, it's probably really bad for you, but I really enjoy it. Okay, so I think I'm gonna do Incredibly Grateful. First, let's square it up, see if it's gonna, yeah, it'll work. Okay, cool. All right, so I'm gonna stamp that out on a scrap piece of paper, cut that down to size, and then we're gonna glue it on here. So I will be right back. All right, so let's just look real quick. Looks like I got everything. I don't see any unshiny bits on here. So I'm gonna go cut this off camera down to size, and then we're gonna mount it and get this on our card. That off to the side, and I'm gonna tape down the top of the card to the bottom just because I want to place our card front in a good spot. So yeah, that looks like it'll be just fine. So I did put a little bit of foam on the back of our sentiment, and I just cut this out with a frame slimline die-lit that I had on hand, specifically the 10 Holtz one. You know, it's not perfectly cut, but that's just because the paper was warped. And it's definitely not level, but you know, it'll do. So I think I do want to lift this up off of the card base just a little bit. So I'm just gonna get some foam tape and do that real quick. Okay. So I put some foam on the card front, and we'll just remove this. And this foam tape I just got off of Amazon. It's not anything fancy, and it gets the job done. So now we just need to figure out if we want what do we want on top? I want the acorns on the bottom. So I'm just gonna line up my card to the top of this line here, and then I can kind of, yeah, go like that. There, so easy peasy. You're able to line that up perfectly. You just line up your top edge to your glass mat and the line there, and then you just kind of aim and hope for the best. All right, so next is the incredibly grateful sentiment. So we'll just pull that off. Again, this is just a random piece of foam tape I found on Amazon. And then we'll lay this down. You could put liquid glue on the back if you don't feel confident enough in your placement abilities. I feel pretty confident today, so we're just gonna place, and there we go. Incredibly grateful. Oh, very nice. Okay, so sticking with, oh, those are just random. Okay, cool. So sticking with the gold theme, I have these, I believe they're Studio Katia and gold embellishments. Just sticking with the gold theme today. That's what we're gonna go with. So this is a different placer than the one that comes in the kit, but you can buy this on Simon Says Stamp website or any other website. I think I got mine off Amazon. They all essentially do the same thing. Oh boy. Oh boy. So I just have some tacky glue that I got off of Amazon. And I just have a little pin in here in this little squeeze bottle. It does precision sort of glue. Again, it doesn't need to be fancy. It's a bottle for glue. And we're just doing 5 little beads. Well, some of them are big. Go big or go home. And that finishes card number 1. I'm excited. Let's get on to card number 2. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is use the Wistful Leaves embossing folder. Put this piece of paper down to size, run this through my my die cutting machine. Not with all of the levels, but with something that works for my machine. So I'll be right back. Okay, so I cut down that piece of paper to 4 by 5 1/4 and ran that through my Sizzix die cutting machine. I also did wet the piece of paper with just a spray bottle. And look at, I have never seen an impression like that before. But we're gonna use melon, guava, and aspen. It sounds like a band name. We're gonna go in with melon first. Make sure that's nice and Okay, I'm gonna let this dry for a little while because that positively saturated ink is very pigmented and very juicy. So I'm gonna let this dry for a while and then rerun it through my embossing folder. And because after rubbing this ink on the paper, it does become a little more flat again. So I just want to put some more depth on there. So we're just gonna set this off to the side and then we'll come right back. Okay, so I ran my card front through the embossing folder again just to give a little more definition, because after rubbing the saturated ink over what was already embossed, it sort of made those flat again. So now they are back to being super plump. So the next thing I did was used the Hello Friend from the stamp set and used the Teeny Bikini Premium Dye Ink, and then just cut that out like this and put some foam backers on that sentiment. And then I got out the rainbow jewel stickers from the October card kit, and I think I want to use some of these on my card. So I think these would be perfect. So now I am going to get my card base. Let's figure out what sentiment we're gonna put on the inside. So I've got Hello Friend. I'm gonna do Sending Love or Thinking of You. I'm gonna do Sending Love. I'm gonna use the Teeny Bikini. Sending Love. I think it's a little crooked, but gives it character. Okay, we'll tape down the inside. The card, I want to tape it down just so when I go to place my card front on here, it is, this isn't giving me any flack. So now let's get our sentiment on. So you could put just dots of liquid glue on the back of these if you need a little bit of wiggle room, but I've been liking just YOLOing it. So I'm just gonna find a spot that I think it was here that I liked. Yeah. Just up here. To the other yellow. And I think that's it. I think that's all I want to do. It's simple, but understated. And that's the finished card project. Let's do the next one. Okay, so moving on to our next card. I already took the liberty of using a waffle flower framing die that has stitching on the edges, as you can see here right there on the edges. And I went ahead and just stamped out Sending You Cozy Hugs on one of the patterned papers. This one just kind of gives me cozy, warm feelings. So I just stamped that directly on here with Gina K's premium dye ink. So nothing fancy here. So the next thing I want to do, I think, is maybe use some of these stamps, use some of these leaf stamps, and just do a pattern around the border. And yeah, I think that might be what I'm gonna do. Okay, let me get out my my acrylic block and stamp these out, and I will see you shortly. All right, so our card front is almost done. I think I'm gonna put some embellishments on as well. But let me get the card base going. And we're gonna go with a 4.25 by a 5.5. And I'm using the burnt orange paper that comes with the stamp set. Fold folder. We're gonna go with the Thinking of You. So I'm just gonna use the Gina K Designs Premium Dye Ink. All right, Thinking of You. I think I want to do something on the inside as well. we're gonna do both of them in lipstick red. Oh, cool, okay. All right, so I already cut out a brown piece of paper that I had on hand and just adhered that to my sentiment, what we just did. And I think I'm gonna put that on the gold and then that on the orange card base. And then we'll put some embellishments on and I think we'll be done. Okay, all right. So I just have some tape runner that I got off of Amazon. And we'll just adhere this. And then we're gonna try and center this as best we can on the gold. I wanna get it the right way though. Yeah. There we go. That looks pretty good. All right, so let's prop this down on our card base here and get it centered and put some embellishments on. So I'm gonna stand up and I'm gonna be confident and we're stuck. Here we go. There we go. That looks pretty straight. All right, so I am gonna use some honeybee rhinestones. And it comes with brown rhinestones, and I think brown would be perfect. Alrighty. I think that is going to be the end of card number 3. Let's get on to the next one. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is make some tags. I've never made tags before, so what better time than now than to make some. I think I actually maybe want to use either the mushrooms or the flowers. Let's just do both. I'm gonna go cut these out and I will be right back. Okay, I may have gotten a little carried away with cutting out tags. So I actually did go and cut out the 3 sizes in the blue as well as the orange. And yeah, I have a lot going on here. So I think I want to just maybe darken the edges of the one tone backers, and then we're gonna place these on top. Maybe not in that size, obviously, but this one. Yeah. Okay. All right. Let me clean this up, and then I'll be right back. Okay. So I think I want to use the lipstick red premium dye ink, and I just have a new brush here. Gonna rub that in and then tap a little off, and then I'm gonna go in with a light hand. Constantly have to remind myself to do a light hand because I can be very heavy-handed. And the next thing I want to do is figure out what I want to, how I want to arrange this. One of these flowers. Okay. So These stamps come with A1, A2, and which is very helpful. So these are layering stamps. So we're gonna lay this one down first with some color, and then we're gonna come in with A2 and also lay down some color. So I'm gonna use the Simon Says Stamp White with the premium pigment ink. Hopefully this works. If not, it's just a piece of paper, you know. But that's pretty pigmented. That's exactly what I'd like. That is about as good as we're gonna get. And I don't hate it. So, wipe this off. Let's wait for that to dry, and then I'll get A2 out, and then we will stamp it. Okay, so while we wait for that to dry, I want to do greeting on the second tag. And this one is the Autumn Greetings. And I also want to do this one in white. Again, there's probably a better white to use, but it's the only one I have at the moment. So I'm just gonna rub that in. Oh, very pretty. All right. And now we will let this one dry. And then we'll try and let me get my heat tool out, and we'll heat that up. Okay, so let's put some powder on. Alrighty. There. It's a little askew, but that's okay. Right, look at that. Okay, very cool. Okay, I want to, so I'm gonna get out Vintage Photo and Ground Espresso. All right. Alright, so I have some just tatting thread. It's size 10 and it's Elizabeth. And this one is just a silvery gray. That's all I have at the moment. And I'm just going to sort of cut it there. Smaller one up front. Okay, so I think what I want to do is make this pattern paper that I cut out from the pamphlet that we got. I want to put the yellow behind, just give it something kind of bright, but vintage it up sort of with the gathered twigs. I'm gonna do that to the yellow. And then I think I want to stamp something here and then take the tags that we made and then just kind of incorporate that in on my card base. I am going to just take my brush from before, take some gathered twigs, and we're gonna just kind of go for it. That is looking very good. We'll set that off to the side, let that dry. Okay, let's stamp something on the inside. I think I'm just gonna do Ground Espresso. Oh, yes. Let's just close this. Do it like that. All right, I wanna glue down the frame to into what we just distressed. So we got that framed. Let's go in with some ground espresso. All right, now it's time to put the finishing pieces onto our card. So let's glue down this to the brown piece of paper. All right, so we're gonna try and center this as much as possible. Fingers crossed. No. There. That's where I want it. Alrighty. So now I think I just want to glue this down. All right. Here we go. Very pretty. Okay, so I did forget I was making this a side folding A2 card. I thought I was gonna do it this way. Thank God I remembered. Okay, I think I want to restamp this. Okay, so I'm back. I will keep this one though in my stash, so I'll definitely use it. But I am gonna do the yellow. And I think I'm gonna do it a little so it's jumping out of the frame. I'm not gonna put any liquid glue. What I am gonna do though is aim for that bold. All right. So I just aimed for this bold line right here. To the top of my sentiment, and I think that worked. So even if it is a little off center, that's okay. This might give me pull that through. All right with that. Now that really did come in handy. Okay, cool. Sweet. And that is the finished card project. All right, let's look at what we've put together. All right, so at the end of using our Simon Says Stamp November card kit called Autumn Hugs. These are the 4 cards and 2 tags that we ended up completing, and I just wanted to walk through each card again just because there was a lot going on, and each are so different that each needs their own moment. So we'll start with the first card. So the first card, I went in with some brown, some mocha, and latte, or sorry, cappuccino and latte, and just, you know, used the stencil that comes with the kit, and then wanted to emboss on the, here, let me zoom in. Here we go. Wanted to emboss the stems in gold, just to give it that just feeling of simple but elegant. And I did not end up letting the first layer of ink dry, and I didn't realize that it was still so wet. So when I put the embossing powder on the layer 2 using that Versamark ink, it ended up actually sticking to parts of what was still wet from layer 1. And honestly, I quite love that. that gave me more of what I wanted than I thought I wanted. If that's possible, and if that makes any sort of sense. So yeah, this one is probably my favorite out of all of them. I love all of them, but this one just ticks all the boxes, and I love a gold card. And just finishing it off with the gold embellishments from Studio Katya. We put 5 on there, and then just a simple, incredibly grateful sentiment. Again, just, oh, look at that. That is insane. Oh, yes. Okay. All right. And then the inside is simple, just thankful for you. And again, I will probably keep this one forever. Okay. All right, let's get into card 2, which is Hello Friend. So this one we used the embossing folder that comes with the kit, and I just used some positively saturated inks on the card front after running it through my embossing machine. Used those saturated inks, rubbed those in, re-ran the card front through the embossing folder, just put it in the same spot that it was previously in, sprayed it with water again, and it just popped out the what it previously embossed, and it looks cool. And it's not very autumny, but it still is summery, I guess, or springy looking. It kind of reminds me of like a Neapolitan sort of ice cream when I look at it, which I love. So I then combined, after letting all of the card front dry, I combined the hello and friend into one single sort of sentiment, just squared off the H over here, and then just kind of went in and out to kind of get a jagged edge under the friend. Yeah, and then just put in some jewels that came from the October card kit, and just had a lot of fun with that. And it's simple again, but just so cute, and just sending love. This one will probably go to my mother, but she's not my friend, so maybe I'll find someone else. Okay, next card. So the third card, again, one of my favorites. So it's masculine looking. I mean, if I remove the embellishments, it would be more masculine, and would be kind of cool to send to my husband or something, or my brother maybe. But yeah, this is the patterned paper, and then I took some of the stamps from the stamp set and just went in with different colors, but used the same color for the stems, except for the blue, because the blue is so pigmented. Now, I did not want that blue to be so pigmented, but you can't help a juicy ink pad, so it is what it is, and it still kind of works, so I'm not terribly mad about it. But yeah, I just got in this the stitching die set from Waffle Flower, and loved that so much that this is the first card I used it on. Then I used it on the next card that I used for this kit, so I apparently really loved it. And then again, combined the Sending You Cozy Hugs stamps from the stamp set and just used black ink for that. And some jewels or some embellishments that I got from Honeybee Stamps, because these are sort of a darker sort of brown, which goes with the card. And then I had some brown paper that I just had on hand that I wanted to use to pop up this section here, the first part, and then put on, or below the brown, put in gold paper, because I wanted some sparkle, not just on the embellishments, but also just a frame, I guess. And then put that on the burnt orange cardstock that comes with the kit. And once we open that, it's thinking of you and then another leaf on the inside. So taking inspiration from Amy R. She always puts something on the inside of her cards, and I kind of love that. But this one is also one of my very favorites. All right, and then card number 4. So the kit comes with those tags, which I loved, and I used those three different size tags, and I have a bunch left over that I will continue to use throughout my future cards. But I just used one of those die cuts for on a patterned piece of paper that comes with the kit, embossed this leaf on here. It's a little off center. The stem isn't quite right, but it still works. And just vintaged up, or distressed, I guess, the perimeter of both tags. And the orange, hopefully the orange comes through, but it's very subtle, the vintagey or distressing of the perimeter. Now the faded autumn greetings, I did not re-ink that. I kind of like it that way, and it's not perfect, which is sort of my aesthetic, I guess. But yeah, and then just took a piece of thread that I had on hand and poked a little hole through the edge, ran that string through there, tied it together. If I were to do this over again, I wouldn't have tied it right there, but you live and you learn. It still is great. Dropped it there. But yeah, so it's kind of like that. And then now here's the card. So then the card, incredibly grateful, put that on just some yellow cardstock that I had laying around, propped that up on a piece of foam tape, distressed, another piece of yellow cardstock, cut that out, got another frame of some patterned paper, and cut that out. I will say that after I cut off one edge, I remembered that I didn't want to do that, but it was too late. So, you make it work. And I made it work by including the brown, again, the same brown paper from the previous card, used the stitching die from Waffle Flower again, just to frame it, and then put that on a white card base and finished that off. There's no embellishments. It's perfect. This one might go to my dad, so it's not girly in my opinion, but he may differ. He may not agree, but that's okay. But yeah, and then I just love this yellow though, this cardstock, distressing that was my favorite part. And I guess also the patterned paper, distressing that's really cool. And then on the inside, for everything you do. So incredibly grateful for everything you do. And then I have a little smaller tag that I had left over that I included, and hopefully you can see there is a small heart right there that I got from the Simon Says stamp, just free gift that I got a while back. And it's subtle, so if somebody's really paying attention, they'll see that. So I love these. So I let me zoom out just so we can get them all in frame again. These were so much fun, and I learned so much. One, remember what you're freaking doing, Chastity. Don't forget to, leave the border if you want to leave the border. Maybe choose a different color for the bottom here. I mean, don't get me wrong, I still love it. Maybe just a different one. It's okay to be masculine, have a masculine card. That is pretty masculine to me. And the last thing is gold is still your favorite color. So these are all of the cards that I I made with the November card kit Autumn Hugs, and I am incredibly proud and just incredibly grateful for being able to do all these cards. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the flip side.